Welcome to Hoops Wednesday here on the Baseball Card Illustrated channel. This is the one day a week that Kevin, the Diamond King, and the Free Throw Line King, and I, Bronco, the PSA 11, take a break from baseball and focus on hoops.
Going to be a lot of fun, and and it's nice to do. For one, it helps you stretch the legs out a little bit, and plus, you can't wear a batting glove every day. It's kind of tough.
And we hope this episode goes a little bit better than Mike Schuler's introductory press conference.
Oh man,
how's that for a lead-in?
Whew. So here he is as Clippers head coach, and these are two different cards, one from Hoops and then one from 91 Fleer. But the Schuler press conference moment is all-time legendary NBA or all-time anything moment.
Now you'll notice on this card he seems to have mastered the art of sitting down.
Yeah, he's got the. Oh, I thought he was squatting. Is he sitting in a chair? Oh, I guess he is. Oh,
he's buckled in.
I thought he was just squatting down there.
He is buckled in.
Oh man,
he's not going anywhere.
The thing that's interesting to me about Schuler in these two photos is Schuler is 50 in these photos. He's held up really well for 50, especially on the left there. I mean, that's.
Well, yeah, that's because he hadn't been coaching the Clippers that long.
That'll do it, right? So the presser moment that you're talking about when he's introduced, he's sliding over into a chair and he misses basically and falls out of the chair in front of every conceivable camera and microphone that could exist because it's a new head coach, so the entire world is watching. And remember, it's 1986. These days, if I fall out of my chair at home, there's a chance someone's recording it. Then it didn't happen that way, so it was a very highly publicized fall.
What a fitting symbol for what's happening in your career as you're accepting the job with the Clippers and you're falling out of a chair.
Amazingly, for two stints as a head coach in the NBA, one with Portland and one with the Clippers, he was 20 games over 500 for his career, 179 and 159. I bet you can guess where most of the wins came between Portland and the Clippers.
Might have been Portland.
I'm thinking yes. NBA Coach of the Year, 1987.
I gotta say, and we kind of make fun of him, but he had a very good career as a coach, and to have a winning record with those two teams, or any teams really, says something. But he's certainly going to be remembered for one moment that didn't even come during a game. We're talking about a press conference, man.
Not a game. Not a game. He won 49 games his first year with the Blazers, 53 in his second year, and in his third year, they were 25 and 22. They fired him, replaced him with Rick Adelman. They made the finals. Or made the playoffs, I mean.
And that moves us to somebody who knows a little bit about playoff basketball.
Oh, wow.
James Edwards.
James Edwards. We're talking Detroit Pistons. James Edwards.
You know what his nickname is?
Hit it.
Buddha.
Oh, yeah? I can see it. His appearance and his stoic demeanor. This is a 7-1 center back in the 90s when a lot of teams were, based around this, right? You didn't have to be especially mobile. If you were 7-1, you could score some in the post. You would find your way onto an NBA roster, and he did, and averaged almost 13 points a game for his career.
And he kind of stood apart from a lot of the guys that you think of from that Detroit team, not because of a lack of talent or anything, but you have your Mahorns, your Lambeers, your Rodmans, your Isaiah Thomases, who to some degree are, I think that's saying it nicely, instigators. And James Edwards was kind of like the silent guy in the corner that just seemed to go about doing his work and letting all the other guys kind of do him and maybe Joe Dumars, kind of like, we'll do our thing and get done what we need to get done, and these other guys can do their own style of basketball. And it obviously worked for what the Pistons were doing in the late 80s.
Two championships with the Pistons, but he won a third championship, James Edwards did at the very end of his career.
Kind of like a few weeks ago we had a Robert Parrish card, came with the Bulls.
Yep, 1996. He played 20 years, James Edwards did, in the league. Lakers, Pacers, Cavaliers, Suns, and of course his time with the Pistons, Clippers, back to the Lakers, then Portland, and then Chicago to finish it out with the championship.
So he wouldn't have been there when Schuler was the coach of the Clippers, though, right? That would have been a little bit after, I'm guessing.
91-92 was his year with the Clippers. We're going to have to dig just a little bit to see what we can find out about Schuler, because he was he was the coach of the Clippers a little later. Hang on one second. Yes.
We do have symmetry here
They
on Hoops
overlapped.
Wednesday. Nice.
They overlapped. Amazing.
There, well,
Schuler says, Edwards, I know that I'm a Clipper and you're a Piston in these cards here, but one day we will be united for like 23 games or whatever it is in LA.
And he said, Schuler, you just sit there and I'll take care of everything. And Schuler fell off the chair, and then eventually they were both out of LA.
So the picture on that card of Schuler sitting in the chair is wonderful if you get the joke. And most people probably don't.
I was going to say, I wonder if that was intentional by Hoops back then, or if that just kind of worked out. And that brings us to one final card. And we've got, I think we're inching close to 40 of these Hoops cards from this set. And would you believe this is the first one that we've spent any money on?
Oh, really?
This was a private signing with Ricky Pierce, I think multiple-time former Sixth Man Award winner.
It was twice, 87
Played
and
for
90.
Seattle, and I think a couple other teams at the very tail end of the career. But just a very efficient scorer. Could, kind of like a Vinnie Johnson if you're a Pistons fan or someone like that. Come off the bench and play starters minutes for the Bucks. Did Ricky Pierce, but fill it up.
Yeah, the original microwave. So you've got Pistons. Here's how far back Ricky Pierce's career goes. He played for the San Diego Clippers. Early in his career, and then spent, as you mentioned, the majority of his time at the Bucks. He was a two-time Six-Man Award winner, and you got to have a guy like that. I mean, that's that. You know the thing about a Six-Man Award? Can you tell me anywhere over the course of the last 30 years, a Sixth-Man Award winner who was not also an insane crowd favorite?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Always happens that way, right? Because that's someone that doesn't start. I think folks identify with him as a common person. He's not a starter, but he'll come in and do what the starters do.
I was going to say, and there's a lot of guys that have thrived in that role that, Kevin McHale for a lot of his career came off the bench for the Celtics too.
Yep.
And would play starters minutes. But, there's something to coming off the bench, letting the game action get going, and just now all of a sudden you kind of have that flow right away, and it's a way to, save some of those minutes and help your team because, as the starters are coming out, you're still out there putting up your 20 points in the case of Ricky Pierce or your McHales or guys like that. But you're right, it seems like those are always among the more popular players on the team. That and the last guy off the bench.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The human victory cigar.
Yeah, exactly. If that guy's in, then you know that you've won this game. Either that or you've lost.
Or it's gone very badly.
Right. But so Ricky Pierce, we mentioned, played for the San Diego Clippers, so he goes back that far. Here's another example of how far back he goes. Do you know where he went to school?
I was looking at the card. I did not know this, and I'm guessing you're talking about his first school, right?
Well, actually, I'm thinking his second, but the first one's even better.
Oh yeah, the first one that they list on the back of this card is it Walla Walla? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Walla
Walla Community College.
That's fantastic. And then from there he went to Rice. So he was a the
noted baseball school.
Right. Like, when was the last time you heard Rice basketball on any kind of national stage? And he was a first-round pick out of Rice.
Now, am I correct in thinking that he was involved with the same trade for the Bucks in which they also got Terry Cummings?
I can look that up, but
because they both played for the San Diego Clippers.
You are correct.
Okay, so it was the same trade.
Yep. Traded before the 84-85 season, along with Terry Cummings. And here's the best part. Pierce was reunited with his coach at Rice, who was an assistant for the Bucks at the time. His name? Mike Schuler.
Really?
Not a lie.
Wow.
How about that for going back to a previous episode?
Hello again, old friend.
Mike Schuler is the Kevin Bacon of the basketball world. Everything in the 1980s and 90s goes through Mike Schuler. Pierce played for Schuler at Rice and played for him with the Bucks when Schuler was an assistant coach here.
There is nothing we can do to top that.
That's it. I mean, that's the mic drop moment right there.
That's a wrap right there. So I'd like to thank you for checking out this edition of Hoops Wednesday, where everything comes together. I wonder at some point if James Edwards was teammates with Ricky Pierce too somehow.
Or, yes, it has to be. All of this comes together. This is amazing.
Anyway, we hope you enjoyed this video and encourage you to subscribe to the channel and be an all-star. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below, especially if you played for Mike Schuler or with Ricky Pierce or Buddha.
200 million likes coming your way.
Anyway, I'm Bronco, the PSA 11.
And I'm Kevin. 40 more years and I'll be Mike Schuler.
And you did not play for Mike Schuler.
I did not.
Oh, that's a shame.
I was injured.
Anyway, thanks for watching. You've been watching the baseball and sometimes basketball card illustrated channel.